What if I told you that the reason you drift when you walk, that quiet pull to one side, that strange hesitation before your body decides which way is straight, may have far less to do with your legs than you have been led to believe? And what if the real issue begins higher up, in a part of your body that almost nobody ever talks about when older adults start losing confidence in their steps? Because I want you to think about how this usually begins. Not with a dramatic fall, not with some obvious injury. It begins quietly. A person starts veering a little in the hallway. They brush a hand against the wall without meaning to. They stand up from a chair and pause for a split second, as if the body has to negotiate with itself before taking the first step. They turn in the kitchen and feel slightly off. They walk across a room and notice they do not feel as centered as they used to. And at first they tell themselves it is nothing. Maybe they are tired. Maybe they moved too fast. Maybe they just need to be more careful. But then it keeps happening. The drifting keeps happening. The hesitation keeps happening. The wall reaching keeps happening. And sooner or later they mention it to someone and hear the same familiar advice. Watch your step. Hold the railing. Take your time. Maybe it is just age. So they go home and do what most people do. They assume the problem is in the legs. They try walking more. They do a few random leg lifts. They take shorter steps. They become more cautious. And still, something does not feel right. Because the truth is, when balance begins to fade, the problem is not always a lack of effort. And it is not always just aging. Sometimes the body is giving you a very specific signal, but no one has explained how to read it. That is what I want to do today. I want to explain, in very simple terms, what may actually be happening inside your body when you drift while walking, feel hesitant when turning, or reach for walls more than you used to. And then I am going to walk you through 8 simple exercises that target the systems most involved in that problem. No gym, no expensive equipment, no complicated routines, just a wall, a chair, a little space, and less than 12 minutes a day. So if you are someone who has started feeling less steady, or if you know someone who grabs the counter when standing up, moves carefully through hallways, or seems nervous when turning around, stay with me. Because what you are about to hear could change the way you think about balance completely. And before we dive in, if you enjoy simple, practical health advice made especially for older adults, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so you never miss another video. If you find this helpful, leave a 1 in the comments. If not, leave a 0 and tell me how I can make these videos more useful for you. Now let us get straight to the point. What is actually happening in your body? Here is the truth most people never hear clearly enough. Walking in a straight line is not just a leg task. It is a coordination task. It is a nervous system task. It is a balance task. And every second you are upright, your body is running an incredibly complex conversation behind the scenes. Your eyes are telling your brain where you are in space. Your inner ear is helping detect motion, head position, and orientation. Your muscles and joints are sending constant feedback about where your feet are, how much pressure is under them, how your body is shifting, and whether you are centered or off-center. And then a structure deep in the back of the brain, called the cerebellum, takes all of that information and helps organize it into smooth, steady movement. When everything is working well, you never notice any of this. You simply walk, you stand, you turn, you step over things. You move through the world without needing to think about it. But when that system becomes less efficient, walking can begin to feel uncertain. You may drift slightly to one side. You may feel wobbly when turning. You may reach for support even when you are still technically able to walk. You may hesitate before stepping because the body no longer feels fully automatic. That is the key word here, automatic. Many people do not realize how much of normal walking depends on automatic balance correction. When that automatic quality begins to weaken, even slightly, you feel it. Sometimes not as a fall, but as a loss of trust. And that loss of trust can change everything. Now here is where the neck becomes important. At the base of your skull, and through the upper part of your neck are structures that matter deeply for orientation, posture, movement, and balance. Your neck contains joints, muscles, connective tissue, nerves, and blood vessels that all live in very close relationships to the systems that help you stay upright. It also contains position sensors that constantly tell the brain where your head is in space. That is a big deal. Because your head is where your eyes are, your head is where your inner ear is, and your brain relies on all of those signals working together cleanly. When the neck becomes stiff, guarded, or chronically tight, sometimes from posture, sometimes from old injuries, sometimes from years of tension that never fully release, those signals can become less clear. Head turning may become restricted. Your posture may shift forward. Your eyes and neck may stop working together as smoothly. And in some people, that can contribute to that floating, drifting, or uncertain feeling while walking. There is also another piece people talk about less often. Important arteries travel upward through the neck to help supply parts of the brain involved in coordination and balance. Now, I want to be careful here and keep this responsible. Not every case of drifting is caused by blood flow issues, and not every tight neck muscle is squeezing an artery in some dramatic way. But reduced mobility, poor posture, chronic tension, and long-standing stiffness can absolutely affect how the whole region functions. And when the neck is not moving well, the balance system often does not perform as smoothly either. That is why the most effective approach is often a two-part approach. First, improve the quality of the input by reducing neck stiffness and restoring more natural head movement. Second, directly retrain the balance system so the brain becomes better at organizing your steps again. That is exactly what we are going to do today. These 8 exercises come in 2 groups. Group 1 helps release the neck and upper cervical tension that may be interfering with good posture, movement, and sensory input. Group 2 trains the cerebellum and the broader balance system by challenging walking control, directional changes, coordination, and weight shifting. You need both. One helps clear the signal, the other helps retrain the response. Let us begin with Group 1. These are the neck release exercises. Exercise 1. Base of neck rotation release. Why does this matter? Because one of the most common places older adults hold chronic stiffness is the exact junction where the neck meets the upper back. This is the area that often gets locked by years of slouching, reading downward, looking at phones, driving, tension, and old protective patterns after discomfort. When this area stiffens, the head does not turn as easily, the upper body often compensates, and the whole sense of orientation can become less fluid. This exercise gently mobilizes that region. Here is how to do it. Sit in a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor. Sit tall, but not rigid. Let your shoulders relax. Now gently lower your chin a little toward your chest, just enough to soften the back of the neck. Place 2 fingertips lightly on the bony bump at the base of your neck, where the neck meets the upper back. Now slowly rotate your head to the right. Use your fingertips only as a gentle guide, not as force. Turn only as far as feels comfortable. You are looking for a mild stretch or a sense of restriction, never pain. Hold that end point for 3 to 4 seconds, then slowly return to center. Now repeat to the left. Do 5 repetitions to each side. Perform it once in the morning and once in the evening. As days go by, many people notice that the neck feels less stuck, turning becomes easier, and even the upper back feels more open. That matters, because the smoother your head can turn, the easier it is for your balance system to organize itself during walking and turning. Exercise 2. Side neck stretch. Why does this matter? Because one of the most overworked and over-tightened areas in the body is the side of the neck. This region often becomes short and tense in people who carry stress in the shoulders, jut the head forward, clench the jaw, or spend years sitting in poor posture. When this tissue stays tight, it can make the head feel heavy, the neck feel rigid, and turning or walking feel less natural. This stretch helps open that entire sideline. Here is how to do it. Place one hand gently over your collarbone on one side. You are simply anchoring the tissue, not pressing hard. Then slowly tilt your head toward the opposite shoulder. Once you feel the stretch, lift your chin just slightly, only enough to change the angle, and lengthen the front side of the neck a bit more. You should feel a clear but comfortable stretch along the side of the neck, sometimes reaching from below the ear down toward the collarbone. Hold that stretch for 20 to 30 seconds. Breathe slowly. Do not yank. Do not bounce. Do not force it deeper. Let time do the work. Return to center and repeat on the other side. Do 2 rounds per side. This is one of those simple movements that can look almost too easy, but when done consistently, it often makes the entire neck feel less compressed and more responsive. Exercise 3. Neck self-massage. Why does this matter? Because some tension lives too deep to fully release with stretching alone. Many people have tender, thick, guarded tissue along the sides of the neck and at the base of the skull that has been holding tension for years. That kind of long-standing tension can keep the entire upper neck feeling protective and stiff. Massage helps bring awareness, warmth, circulation, and softness back to the area. Here is how to do it. Using the fingertips of both hands, begin just below the base of the skull. Make slow, small circles on both sides of the neck. Then gradually work your way downward toward the base of the neck. You are not digging in aggressively. You are exploring. You are looking for spots that feel ropey, sore, full, or more tender than the surrounding area. When you find one, stay there for a few extra seconds with gentle, steady pressure until it begins to soften. Spend about 60 to 90 seconds on each side. This can be done once daily, preferably in the morning before the rest of the routine, or in the evening if your neck tends to stiffen during the day. That completes Group 1. Now we move into Group 2. This is where we begin training the balance system more directly. These exercises help your brain organize walking, turning, coordination, and weight shifting with greater confidence. Exercise 4. Slow motion straight line walk. Why does this matter? Because many people move too quickly to feel what their body is actually doing. Normal walking speed can hide a lot of weakness, overcorrection, asymmetry, and drifting. Momentum covers it up. But when you slow the movement down dramatically, your brain has time to notice each part of the step and improve it. This exercise strips away speed and forces your balance system to work with full awareness. Here is how to do it. Find a clear hallway or open path. If needed, keep one hand lightly near the wall. Now begin walking at the slowest speed you can manage, so slow that each step takes 3 to 4 seconds. Lift one foot deliberately, pause briefly, reach the heel forward slightly. Then lower it to the floor with full control. Feel your weight transfer through that foot before the next step begins. Take 10 slow steps forward, then turn carefully using small controlled steps. Then take 10 slow steps back. That is one set. Complete 3 sets. What should you focus on? Keep your eyes forward, not down at your feet. That is important. Your balance system needs to learn how to function while you are oriented toward the world ahead, not while staring at the floor for reassurance. If you wobble a little, that is okay. That wobble is not failure. That wobble is training. It means the system is being asked to do real work. Over time, those corrections often become smaller, smoother, and more automatic. Once this exercise begins to feel easier, try it on a slightly different surface, such as carpet instead of hardwood. That small change teaches the nervous system adaptability, not just memorization. Exercise 5. Tandem heel-to-toe walk. Why does this matter? Because many balance problems show up most clearly when the base of support gets narrow. Hallways, tight corners, stepping around furniture, and carefully walking in close spaces are situations where people often feel least secure. This exercise directly trains balance in a narrow line, which is exactly where many real-life stumbles begin. Here is how to do it. Stand at one end of a hallway, with one hand lightly near the wall. Place your right foot directly in front of your left, so that the heel of the front foot nearly touches the toes of the back foot. Then step the other foot forward the same way, heel to toe, as if walking on a straight line. Take 10 steps forward, turn carefully, then take 10 steps back. That is one set. Complete 2 sets. What should you focus on? Move slowly, and with complete control. Keep your eyes forward. Do not worry if you need to touch the wall occasionally. That is not a problem. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistent training of the exact skill that tends to weaken with age and fear. As this becomes easier, you can progress it by keeping your arms crossed lightly over your chest instead of extending them outward. That removes some arm compensation and asks more of your feet, ankles, hips, and core. Exercise 6. Standing marches with cross-body tap. Why does this matter? Because walking is not just about stepping forward. It is about timing, rhythm, coordination, and cross-body communication. Your arms and legs alternate in a beautifully organized pattern when walking is smooth. When that timing becomes hesitant or uneven, walking often begins to look and feel less steady. This exercise retrains that pattern while also helping you lift the feet clearly off the ground, which is important for avoiding shuffling and catching the toes. Here is how to do it. Stand behind a sturdy chair with both hands lightly resting on the back. Lift your right knee toward your chest as high as is comfortable. As the knee rises, reach across with your left hand and tap that knee. Then lower it slowly. Now lift your left knee and tap it with your right hand. That is one full repetition. Do 10 repetitions per side, 20 total. Move slowly enough that the tapping hand and rising knee meet at exactly the same moment. That precise timing is where the training happens. Do not rush through it. If this becomes easy, reduce your grip on the chair. Go from both hands to one hand, then to fingertips. Eventually, if it is safe for you, try a few repetitions with no support at all. And only much later, if you are very steady, you can experiment with closing the eyes for just a rep or two, but only with strong support nearby. Exercise 7. Fixed point turn. Why does this matter? Because a surprising number of older adults do not feel most unstable while walking straight. They feel unstable when turning. Turning in the kitchen, turning in the bathroom, turning to answer someone behind them, turning after standing up. That is where dizziness, hesitation, and disorientation often show up. This exercise trains the coordination between your visual system, your inner ear, your neck, and your body during rotation. Here is how to do it. Stand facing a wall with a sturdy chair, countertop, or wall within easy reach. Choose a fixed point at about eye level. A light switch, a picture corner, a small mark on the wall, anything clear. Lock your eyes onto that point. Now slowly begin turning your body in a full 360-degree circle using small controlled steps. Keep your eyes on that point as long as physically possible. When you complete the turn, find that point again immediately. Do 5 full turns. Start very slowly. This is not a speed exercise. This is a control exercise. You are teaching your system to stay oriented while the body rotates. That skill matters enormously in everyday life. As this becomes easier over the following weeks, you may gradually smooth out the turn or increase the speed slightly, but never at the expense of control. And do not close your eyes during this one. The whole purpose is to train the coordination between what the eyes see and what the body feels. Exercise 8. Multidirectional weight shifts. Why does this matter? Because most falls do not happen in one perfect straight line. They happen when you shift sideways, lean forward, turn unexpectedly, reach for something, or lose your center for a split second. This exercise trains your ability to move your center of gravity in different directions and then recover back to center with control. That is one of the most important skills in fall prevention. Here is how to do it. Stand behind a sturdy chair with both hands resting lightly on the back. Feet hip-width apart. Back comfortably straight. Now slowly shift your weight onto your right foot. Let the left foot become light, or lift it just an inch if that feels safe. Hold for 3 seconds. Return to center. Now shift to the left foot. Let the right foot become light. Hold for 3 seconds. Return to center. Now gently shift your weight forward toward the balls of your feet without letting the heels lift. Hold for 3 seconds. Return to center. Then gently shift backward toward the heels without letting yourself tip or lock the knees. Hold for 3 seconds. Return to center. That full sequence, right, left, forward, back, is 1 round. Do 3 rounds. As you become stronger and steadier, gradually reduce how much you hold the chair. Go from full hands to fingertips to, eventually, no support if it is safe. Each step down increases the demand on the ankles, hips, core, and balance system. Now that you have seen all 8 exercises, I want to pause and talk about safety, because your safety matters more than any routine ever could. These exercises are designed for general use by otherwise stable older adults who want to improve steadiness and confidence. But if you have been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, had a stroke, have severe vertigo, severe cervical instability, unexplained fainting, major vascular disease involving the neck, or any neurological condition affecting balance, please speak with your doctor or a licensed physical therapist before starting. That does not mean you cannot improve. It simply means you may need a more personalized or supervised version. For the neck release exercises, never force the movement. The feeling should always be mild and tolerable. A stretch, not a strain. Never sharp, never pinching. Never accompanied by tingling down the arms, sudden dizziness, or spinning sensations. If you feel any of those, stop immediately and consult a medical professional before continuing. For the balance exercises, always have something nearby for support. A wall, a sturdy chair, a countertop, something solid, not because I expect you to fall, but because the presence of support reduces fear and allows the nervous system to learn more calmly. Also, never do these exercises in slippery socks on a hard floor. That is one of the easiest ways to turn a helpful routine into a preventable accident. If possible, go barefoot on a safe, clean surface. Barefoot often gives the brain better sensory feedback from the floor. If you prefer footwear, use shoes with a non-slip sole. And finally, if anything during these exercises feels sudden, alarming, or simply wrong, stop. Do not push through it. There is no prize for ignoring warning signs. Progress should feel steady, safe, and respectful of your body. Now let us talk about how to fit all of this into a normal day. Because even the best exercise routine is useless if it is too complicated to keep doing. Here is the simplest structure. Every morning, spend about 5 minutes on the 3 neck release exercises: the base of neck rotation, the side neck stretches, and the self-massage. Think of that as helping your upper body move more freely and giving your balance system better input before the day begins. Then later in the day, at any point that feels manageable, work through the 5 balance exercises. You can do them all at once or break them into short bursts. The slow motion walk and heel to toe walk can be done in a hallway. The marches, turns, and weight shifts can be done in a small space next to a chair. The entire routine takes less than 12 minutes once you know it. That is what makes it realistic. Not extreme, not exhausting, just consistent. And consistency is where the real change happens. That is especially true for balance, because balance is not something you force into improvement in one heroic workout. It is something you retrain through repeated signals. A little practice today, a little practice tomorrow, a little practice when you feel good, a little practice even when you feel steady and think you do not need it. In fact, those steady days may be the most important days of all, because every repetition is teaching the brain something. Every controlled step is reinforcing a pathway. Every turn is teaching your body how to stay oriented. Every weight shift is teaching your system how to recover. You are doing the work now so your body has better options later, in that exact split second when balance is challenged. And that matters more than most people realize, because the loss of balance is not only physical, it becomes emotional. Once people stop trusting their own steps, life starts to shrink. They avoid walking outside, they avoid stairs, they avoid crowded places, they avoid turning too quickly. They become dependent on walls, counters, and other people, and often, they do not talk about it. They just quietly adapt their world around fear. That is why this kind of training is so important. It does not just improve motion, it can restore trust. Trust in turning, trust in stepping, trust in standing up and moving without reaching automatically for support. That kind of progress may seem small from the outside, but from the inside, it is enormous. And here is something I want you to remember. The people who improve the most are not always the ones who push the hardest. They are often the ones who show up the most consistently. They practice even when nothing dramatic seems to be happening. Because the brain often improves quietly first. Before you feel stronger, it may already be learning. Before you feel steadier, it may already be organizing signals more efficiently. Before you notice confidence, the pathways may already be strengthening. And then one ordinary day, something changes. You walk through the kitchen and realize you did not touch the counter. You stand up and take the first step without hesitation. You turn in the hallway and feel less off balance than usual. You walk across a room and it feels just a little more natural. That is how change often arrives. Quietly, gradually, but very, very meaningfully. So start small. If all you do on day 1 is the neck release and the slow motion walk, that is enough. On day 2 or day 3, add another exercise, then another. Build it gently, build it steadily. Your goal is not perfection. Your goal is to teach your body, one careful repetition at a time, how to feel organized again. Give yourself 6 weeks of consistent practice, not perfect practice, consistent practice, and watch for the signs: less drifting, less hesitation, less wall reaching, more control, more calm, more trust in your own feet. And please do not keep this to yourself. If you know someone who grabs furniture when they stand, walks as if they are not fully sure where the center is, avoids going outside because they feel unsteady, or turns in the hallway with visible caution, share this video with them. Sometimes what people need most is not more warnings. It is not another reminder to be careful. It is a simple plan, a specific plan, a plan they can actually follow at home. That is what this is meant to be. One more thing before you go. Balance is only one part of staying upright. The other major piece is leg strength, because even if your balance improves, your legs still need enough power to catch you in the split second when you stumble. One system helps you know what to do, the other helps you physically do it. That is why balance training and leg strengthening belong together. And when they work together, life often becomes safer, more confident, and more independent. So if this helped you, leave a 1 in the comments. If it did not, leave a 0 and tell me what would make it better. Your feedback truly matters. Please like, share, and subscribe for more simple, practical health content designed especially for older adults. Thank you for reading. And remember this: the drifting, the wobbling, the hesitation, the reaching for walls, none of that automatically has to become the final chapter. Your balance system may not be broken, it may be undertrained. Your neck may not be ruined, it may be stiff, guarded, and in need of better movement. Your brain may not be giving up. It may simply need better input, better practice, and a little patience. So start today. One neck release, one slow step, one steady turn, one careful weight shift at a time. And with repetition, patience, and respect for your body, you may begin to feel something many people think is gone forever. More steadiness, more control, more confidence, and maybe, for the first time in a long time, more trust in your own steps again.